Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. And cheers. Let's see. Let's try to do some work today for the web project of the century. This here ScrambledEggs website. We're trying to build a leaderboard, and we'll try to do that using Kotlin, which I love, because it's much more strongly typed than Java. Null safe types, love it. Then also we'll try to do it in Elm as a front end, which also features strong type system, yes, and pure functions. And the other thing that's special about this, according to me, is we're doing command and query responsibility segregation, and we'll be using EventSourcing to replay events for a leaderboard, and because that will allow us to come up with a different scoring algorithm, replay the events that happened in the past, and then get a new output. What else is there to to say. Maybe for me the music is a bit too loud, so I think I'm going to turn it down just a cinch, like this. Hopefully that's also better for you lot. Anyway. Okay, last time I think where we left off, maybe I can just look at a log. The log. What we did was some smart reification. I don't like the thing this is providing me, so maybe let's do thing here. I'm not sure if that's at all legible, but yeah, here we go. Some smart reification to get the correct command and query handler based on the yeah, right. That's something I checked in after I finished streaming last time. And we've got a working scenario test. Maybe that's something that I should focus on then. There was something else that I just noticed, and that's the fact that we don't actually have a database just yet. So maybe let's try and add that today and complete the front to back thing. Working example, the walking skeleton, as we say. Let's see, so we've got in our web module somewhere over here, we've got a registration scenario where an anonymous user visits the website and then eventually registers themselves using this thing. What does it do? It's just a stupid post to this URL here, and we supply content type as JSON and then the actual player name JSON object, which is nothing more than a wrapper around a username string. And once this is done, we can verify that this player with this name has registered, and this test is working, or was working last time we ran it, so it should be running still, or working still. The way that we're verifying is by checking if the player registered event got broadcast. So maybe that's something we can change after we've introduced running this thing with a database. What do we do to make it run with a database? As I believe maybe it's in here, an application. No, it's not there. And I think we fixed it. Nope, not even there. Okay, nice. Then it's got to be in the REST API adapter. Also not here. Ah, no, now I remember, I think. We commented out, yeah, we commented out these projects or these modules. They're not being used currently in the web module, which isn't, so that means we don't have a database, nor do we have an event sourcing stream or a way to yeah, save the stream, let's say. Yeah, so let's gradually add these. If I have my RDBMS implementation, then I think I will also enable it again. Oh no, not there yet. These plugins, they keep updating it so frequently. Don't want to do it right now. We'll do that at a later date. Should be fine. So as this Gradle build or the dependency graph recompiles, we'll get a database adapter on our class path. That means that we'll also need some way to check how we need to connect to this database. Now I do believe that in this Docker or in the ops folder, there is not a SQL server, but a Postgres Docker Compose. So let's start that. There we go, we've got a Docker database running. I think 2 Docker databases. One for the event store and one for the projections. Maybe what I should do instead of having 2 separate databases for event store and projections is maybe get one for or get another one for our CRUD to save the players, etc. Persist players, I should say. But let's just first try to get the scenario test running, because right now I think if I try to run this scenario, run it, then it's going to try and start up a Spring Boot using this class right here. And since we've added the RDBMS adapter and we've got some beans defined there, no? Guess not yet. These are called projections though. Ooh, and it requires an event store. Here we've got the way we've set it up apparently, so maybe this should already just work then. Maybe it was only the event sourcing module. Nope, there we go. Let's see what the error is, huh? Some bean couldn't be found, but which one is it? R2DBC. So autoconfigure goes off and it's trying to create a data source, but we don't have an R2DBC connection URL, so maybe let's provide that. That's, I think, why exactly is that, because our RDBMS has, where is it? This depends on the event sourcing module, so that will trigger here this thing, and from here on out we need how do you call that? We need something, some parameters that provide this thing. So what I think I will do is make a default file called application properties, which is going to contain what's it called, R2DB. There we go. You've got a URL and then a username and a password that we need to provide. So I think for now the place where my Docker database is living, so we can ignore all of the other crap. We're just interested in this one, and we've configured that in our ops folder because that's where the Docker Compose file lives. And here we've got this one, or this one actually, the event store. It's called Postgres Events Database with Snarf and Lion-O. So these are the credentials I need to provide in this application properties file here. And then the URL looks something like, maybe if I go to the event stream or store, the Postgres event store, which receives a database client. How did I configure that? I think I should have a test for this somewhere, no? Spring wiring test, but it doesn't have a... Oh yeah, here we just configure with test containers a thing. So... where did What's this database client? That's also something that just gets wired in. I don't really remember how this actually works, this test. There is a config here, but I'm not even sure if this gets used, because I don't see any reference there. I'm looking for a URL. Here. This looks like a URL. Okay, let's go to the application properties again. This is what it's supposed to look like, and then the port is fixed for now. Docker compose, it's 6668, and then the name is called Postgres Events DB. Oh. R2DBC. What else do we have? Name. Maybe this is it. And then user name snarf and Lionel as a password. Password. Voila. So maybe if I rerun my tests right now, like this right now, it hopefully already works. Not really sure. No dice. Why this time? Still, it's not a suitable. Okay, maybe they've got examples. Yeah, I don't really know. I could try and copy this file, or the properties at least, over to, oh Jesus Christ, my properties file here, and then see if that will make it work, because it might be that, yeah, I think that's going to be, it's gonna be it. What I should have done is named that application properties file in my module and then included it here in as a profile. So this is likely, oh, it's also not going to work. Okay, that's fine. And no such element. This time we've got a different thing. We've got a 500. That's nice. But why? Collection contains no element matching the predicate. When you're executing the registration, or the registration. Collection contains no element matching the predicate. So I think that's where we are trying to discover. So we've got 94 here. 94 is not on the map. I wonder, maybe I need to rebuild or something. It could be that this just doesn't work yet, the handler for command bit. So maybe my refactoring compiles but doesn't work. That could also be the case. Anyway, we can always find out if that's Alright, there we go, like this. Rerun it and debug. And then see what's going on. At least my application boots this time. So I will rename this. I will rename this. And call it application ES for event sourcing. or maybe we'll event store or something. And what I will do later is I will use this as a profile. Okay, let's find out if this returns something. Ah, there we go. So it is indeed this function that doesn't return anything. So apparently, maybe my command handlers are empty? No, we've got 2 of them. But apparently that's not... It's not going to work. Why would that be? So if we do this... Maybe I should make a unit test for this, in fact. Let's do that. I will stop this and then create a unit test for the command executor, and then verify that if I run, wait, no, that's not what I wanted to. Handler for command, I think it's called. Handler for command, yeah. Retrieves the command handler based on the command type. There we go. The problem is though that it's a private function, and I think it needs to remain private because it's inline, so I'll need to run that or test this function, the handler for command, via the execute function, because that one is public. So let's first create a new command executor. Command executor. We will provide it with a list of command handlers and then a broadcaster. Let's do... Yeah, that's a bit annoying now because this is in the infrastructure layer, and my oh, it's not. I've put it in the... Maybe I do want to move it though then to infrastructure. So let's not keep it in the same source root, but in fact move it all over here. I don't have a... That's why. Let's create a test source directory. And then try to move this again. There we go. A different source root. There we go. Sure, add it. And now I do have my command executor here, and it can take some command handlers. So maybe what I'll need to do is write a domain event broadcaster. Maybe we'll just do a new one. I'm not really sure what it does right now. In fact, it just keeps a list of events. That's fine enough. I think whether it's a real one or not should be okay. Yeah? We can get rid of all of this crap. This one we don't really care about, so maybe let's turn it into a field. Good enough for me. Now let's add some new command handlers. So normally I would go like what's an actual command handler? That means search for implementations. So we've got a challenge player handler. This thing we can't access from here because it resides in the main or in the main core or the core domain. So, and we're in infrastructure here, and I don't want to add a dependency, of course, because then I would get into a cyclical dependency. Where is infrastructure? It's not on here. That's not very good. Because web depends on infrastructure, and infrastructure understands core API, and the adapter, etc. They all understand that thing. So I mean, they don't have a dependency directly. So adapter has a dependency on infrastructure as well, and then this thing has a dependency on infrastructure, and that's the thing that causes the actual wiring or putting together of stuff. Yeah, so maybe I should just add that somewhere as well. Infrastructure. Oh, I think it's just called infra. So it looks like this. Depends on infrastructure. This thing also depends on infrastructure. And then I think, I'm not sure if this adapter also depends on that. Let's find out. Maybe let's find out if the REST API even yes, it does. Okay. And then we've got domain core, which I think also depends on infrastructure. There we go. And then let's check whether the RDBMS also depends on it. Not yet, at least. I'm not sure if it's going to. This one also doesn't depend on it. Not yet. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, we can't go like this from here to here to add the handler, because then we have a cycle, huh? Which is bad. Oops. Let's group these so that I don't make a mistake again. Allee. Okay, there we go. So what we'll need to do is make a dummy. Let's call it dummy challenge player. Or maybe dummy play song handler. Oh wait, yeah, or yeah, this is okay. This is okay. I'll add some classes here. We've got a class dummy blah blah, which implements a command handler. Then I need a command. The command is going to be play song. That means I'll need a data class called play song, which is a command. I'm not sure if this needs something. Nope, it's cool. Then maybe we've got a UUID or a string or whatever. Name, song name, which is a string. Not enough. Okay. I need an aggregate ID. Let's put that first. And a song name. There we go. Yeah, no, I can't actually decide that it's always going to be a new one there. Doesn't make sense to play song. Maybe we can also have a create song or maybe not. This should be okay. Good enough, good enough. We've got the handle, and then in the handle, what do we want to do is maybe just, oh no. Now I need some way to verify that this thing has been called properly. Maybe we can leave it empty for now. No, it should return something. It should return... Ah, we can use a domain event broadcaster for that. Haha, nice. Return song started with song name. This is a domain event with a name. And this is a domain event. Yep. Okay, noise. And maybe something else I need here, or I will need, is a timestamp. I don't have it yet. I think eventually I will need it. Then this one we can just create, and we will have a single dummy play song handler. So maybe instead of calling it dummy, let's just call it like this, because it'll only stay here anyway, I think, at least. Can I do this? Just so that these things don't get exposed in any kind of way. Alright, so now we've got a command executor. And then what I want to do is execute a new play song command with just some new aggregate ID. So I guess we'll do UUID random or something. This looks a bit weird. I'm only interested in the song name, so what I'm going to do is make a default here. And then I'll only need to add the song name. Chiquitita. There we go. And then what I want to do... Oh, there's nothing that's coming out of that. Okay. I want to verify on this domain event broadcaster. How did I do it in the scenario test? Verify. Ah, it's in the steps. Find event, so that's the thing I want to do. Wait, how does it work again? I am confused. Because it isn't open function, so I should be able to access it though. Nope. Song play started. Publish, it can find. What's the difference? Ah, yeah. Okay, so this is an extension function on domain event broadcaster, which returns a T, but you can only access it if you provide domain event broadcaster as what's it called? A receiver. So I'll need this. Let's call it broadcaster. I guess I want to actually make or like verify that this exact event was called, but that's gonna be a bit difficult, right? Because it's going to create a new ID and those events will always be different. Actually, there's no equals implementation here, which isn't very smart. Okay, so what I want to do now is make this verify event exists, which is a domain event broadcaster verify event exists, which takes in a domain event, which is a domain event. What do I return? Maybe nothing, just unit. This can do the assert that. This dot find event, and now I can do that. Find event, and I need the maybe this class. So if it's there, that might already be enough, I guess. Okay, let's try to run it, and I think it should fail. Yeah, so we've got the same exception now. But I do think I want to get like the actual event. I mean, just a class. Oops. And then this can just become this, and then we'll check for class. So I don't want to use the property type there. Okay, now I think what we can do is start going back to the initial behavior, because this isn't working. Maybe something that I could do here to fix it. Since I only have a one handler registered, this should work. So let's see if this is already okay. Okay, that does work. That's nice. So if we take the commands class, maybe what I could do is debug here and then check what this command class.java is and what the handler's command type is. I guess if I do that, yeah, actually I want my breakpoint to be here inside of the lambda. That's correct. I think if I just, yeah, there we go. Now, what is in this thing? This is a play song class. Seems legit. What's the handler's command type? I guess it's not in the handler just yet. If I just do, is it F7 now maybe? Yeah, okay. So I'm in the handler now. I really just want to know what this returns. I'm already past it. Okay, what I'm going to do is assign this to command type and maybe assign this to call it something else. Ah no, this is already fine. Okay, put my breakpoint in there. We can get rid of this one, get rid of that one, rerun it and debug, and then see what ends up in this command type value. Run it. I think it's returning. Oh, it's returning. It's just returning command, like the general. Ah yeah, of course. It's never going to be the concrete one then. Okay. I guess I thought that worked, but it does not. What if I do, okay, let's get out of the debugging thing. Yeah. Then I guess maybe. Yeah, but it's also consuming the command. Then I don't think I can do it in a general way like this. That sucks. Then maybe what I should do is make this an abstract one. Abstract command type. and it should return a CMD, I think. Oh yeah, let's call it the file. And in that case, I don't think my test is still compiling. All right. Members. And this should return play song. Oh yeah, it requires an instance though. Then it's not, and my type thing in here is wrong. In that case, it should return a class of this type. Then you go back to the test and return class. Oh yeah, this is incorrect. Okay. Okay, so now we do have the command type again. My implementation still does a comparison check, which is fine. I just can't do it in a general way anymore. So I'll remove that. And now I'm not sure if I can just rerun my test because other stuff is not compiling anymore now. Jesus. Okay, so that does work. But then all of my command handlers, the two that I've already created, they're not compiling anymore. Yeah. Return challenge player. Guess move that up top. And then the other one is here. And this should return register player. Voila. Now that should be enough. I do believe that my query handler works the same, but yeah, maybe this one does work. I don't know why I would think that would work, but yeah, we will see. I can also write a test for that one. Okay, so now maybe let's check if I set up my tests with multiple handlers. Maybe we'll call it a rewind or something. All of this is going to be rewind. And then this is going to be restarted. Yeah. And then if I run this, it should still work. Maybe I will put the rewind song handler first or something. Okay, that's working. Nice. What are all of the modifications? Ah, nice. The modifiers I meant to say. Ah, man. Alright. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. I think what's next is I also want to check my query executor handler for a query retrieves the query handler based on the query type. In that case, we've got a query executor. This one. Find by artist or something. And we've got a find by title handler. This is going to be our query executor, and then we'll execute find by title. This should be the same. I'm not sure. It's not going to be. I mean, we're not going to be able to verify with the broadcaster. So we'll need to figure out something else. Maybe we'll give both of these handlers like a fake repository or something, and then we can verify that the repository works. Song database or whatever. It's called DB. Songs. Ah, in fact, that's I'll only need a list, maybe. Strings. No, we'll need songs, and then songs can be song file artist string file title string. Good enough. And then they both get a song DB injected into them. Let's create some songs. So out of inspiration. Okay. Now we need both of those handlers. So all of this belongs to the command handler or the command executor test. So maybe what I want to do next is put this in a query executor test. Since I need to sneeze. Okay, let's create it in here. I'm so sorry. Okay. And then what? Song, we'll put that here. Then we will need a find by artist. Handler, which is a query handler for the query find by artist. And it's returning, or is that already enough? The query and then the representation. Can be a song. Then it needs the find by artist query, which will make it into a data class. it will take in a song name, or sorry, artist name. File artist, which is a string, and this entire thing is a query for songs. There we go. What's your problem? Oh. I also don't care about that. Maybe I can just do this then. Random. I think I will use that style here as well for the this thing. Rewind song and play song. Voila, we'll do the same here. Voila. Okay, and then this we don't need. Then I want the find by title, in which you've got a title, and then this thing will need to implement, and this is going to need to take a list or songs, songdb, which is a list of songs. There we go. Same for the by title handler seg. Voila. But this is bound to find by title query. Yeah, and then the only thing we need to do here is query songs. So that would be song or return songdb dot filter apparently I didn't add it as a value yet. Filter or the first one to contain it dot artist equals query dot artist. There we go. And then I think there's a first or null. Yeah. Let's do it like this. This one is exactly the same, but then by title. Okay, I'm glad that it doesn't compile anymore. Title here as well. Voila. Now we've got the regular stuff set up, and it in fact shouldn't work. This was title, but I can just drop it. Yeah, it needs a transformer apparently. Just return it. This looks weird, huh? Meow. So if I run this, I bet it's going to fail. same issue there. So I guess what we'll do here is we'll make the same fix. So we'll have our query handlers also have an abstract query type then. So our query handler, command handler should have a val query type, which is a class for Q. And then stuff is breaking again in a query executor test. Nice. And then we can implement it. Nope. As members. Nice. And really what it should do is just return find by artist class. There we go. And same for this one. But then for by title. I think I can remove this, no? I also wonder if you can write this shorter. There, that looks a bit better in my opinion. Now my test should work though. Yeah, nice. I will also replace this. That. In fact, it's an aggregate ID though. Okay, voila. Okay, now let's move to our command executor test thingamajig. Also fix the same thing here. So we'll do this. That, and then we will go to the handlers and return this. And we've got the other handler. Where is it? The play song handler. Here we go. Voila. That already looks a bit more concise, and that's good. Cool, cool, cool. This should still work. This test. Oh, I'm not in a test. This one. All right. And then my query executor test should also still work. Oh, I haven't actually verified that the query executor's behavior was called. What is this? Maybe a song. So let's do assert that result. Assert that result is equal to this one. And we can also verify that the rest of the behavior works. Now maybe what I want to do is also do the translation maybe, so verify that this thing is being called. So I'll just do maybe get the artist or something. You know what? Let's do a string concatenation. That's also cool. So we will do it dot artist or let's say by. It's dot title by. There we go. And then we can verify that this thing is not song, but we will do Chiquitita by ABBA. There we go. Now we've also verified that this transformer here is being called upon execution of the query that was found by nice. Okay, that's good. Now there are some queries already, I think. I'm not really sure. So if we go to the query class, if we go to all of those implementations, we've got a player by ID. For this one, we've got a handler, I think. There we go. And this is now breaking because I just want this one. Oops. I want it to be implemented as this. Voila. Okie dokie. I think if I go to the commands now, though, the command handlers, those the real implementations. Yeah, let's make this also a bit more concise now. Now that we know how. So, voila. Let's do a compile all the things. I'm not sure if I've written tests for these handlers. Yeah, didn't think so. So I'm going to try something for this project, which is only write scenario tests. And then, you know, like if I need framework tests or something to be unit tested, first try to keep it within a scenario test. If that doesn't work, or if I want to discover a bit more, then let's write a unit test for it. Looks like compilation works. Let's then run a build. See if this still works. Damn, I want another D. So I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but if you brew apple tea and you put Jack Daniels in it, it's actually quite delicious. And it's been snowing out here, and it's a drink that really fits the weather, let's say. Is nice. By the way, watched the new Borat movie yesterday. It was quite funny. But it's still Borat. He's got a daughter this time, who lives in a cage. It's quite fun. Oh. Unsatisfied dependency in the REST API adapter. That's interesting. Okay then. It might be that I did break this. Why would that be? I know. I already understand why. I think. Yeah. There's no command executor found. Probably. Yep. Okay, the classic. So let's do mock beans for command executor and same. Yo, what? Oh, not an exception, idiot. Executor. Same for the query executor. Maybe that's already enough. The trick is my registration controller now gets command and query executors injected into it because I actually want to start using them. And during my mock MVC controller test, I don't have control on how Spring Boot's test framework initializes my controller, but I can make sure that these are found as beans. And what I do then is, typically you would just go like this, bean, then you declare your command executor. But in my case, it's fine enough to just mock the bean. And then, yeah, we're done. Okay, now rerun the build, make sure that everything else is working fine. Actually, let's make that in a separate commit. That's, I don't know. I think it's this. Mock bean our query, then command executors. So mock MVC can instantiate our controllers. Still something wrong. Oui. So if I interpret this correctly, my domain core tests require Jackson because they've got a dependency on the infra module, and apparently infra module doesn't have this one. But why? Why is that? Where do I use? If I go to the infrastructure's build.cradle file, yeah, it doesn't have it, but it does have Spring conventions. But those aren't taken over transitively. So if I go to the build.gradle of my core domain, or this one, it's only depending on Kotlin conventions, but now yeah, still wondering where it needs the Kotlin module thing. Let's go to the Spring conventions and then I guess only taken. Oh, I don't know. I want to know why. Is it just because of infrastructure? Infrastructure has some. I don't see any Kotlin module here. Why is that? There aren't any tests here either. It needs more than just Jackson module Kotlin. It also needs these. Starter web, starter actuator. And that's because infra needs it. And then core needs infra. But I don't understand. Why is it not being... Christ. Maybe this will solve it, I guess. Or not. Okay, so transitive dependencies won't work because that would mean that, or would have meant, in fact, that I would be able to use Spring stuff in core, which I couldn't, which is the main reason why I had to add this implementation dependency. But infra needs it. But that's fine, I guess. I don't understand how why core test runtime class path. There aren't even any tests in here. I mean, okay, so what I'll try and do then is test implementation is saying could not find. Just use these. We've got 3 of them. There you go. Hopefully it's enough to not specify the version, not sure. Let's try to run the build again. I don't think this is a good solution to this problem. Maybe added, is there like a test runtime? Fixtures. We've got yeah, oh my god, that API thing is something I completely forgot already. Runtime, yeah, voilà. The other thing that could have explained this because I didn't specify any version here. So maybe I need to do that. Let's try and rerun it. Very curious. Nope. Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, still same issue. I guess I'll need versions, which are in here somewhere. We've got the bomb. Here. No, these are like actual implementations and not test implementations. These also happen to be the ones that yeah, I just don't want these. And the Spring Boot plugin is not applied, so to speak, but I've got it here. Where is it here? Spring Boot Gradle 2.4.0. Here's a Spring Dependency Management, which is fixed to this. So maybe let's find it. So we go to the 1010. Yeah, I know it is a new artifact, but where? Not the thing I was looking for. Where is the... Maybe I need the bomb then, I guess? Or this one? Oh, because that's just a Gradle plugin. Where can you see which Spring dependencies are tied to this one? Oh, it is the... I am using the Spring bomb coordinates from the Gradle boot plugin instead of the dependency management plugin. So, yeah. Might be this thing. Okay, then let's find this one. Where is it? 240, and maybe even the 240 is just tied to Spring Boot 240. I think so. 531 Spring Core. That I think I already fixed in this one. Oh. 531, that's nice. So I guess the rest is 240, So this one, they're both 240. Maybe let's just check if these already work. Then hopefully it will only complain about the Jackson module Kotlin, which after this Gradle build is finished, we can already start looking for. Allee, when is it over, the Gradle build? This is just scanning, so it should be able to run this. In the meanwhile, we can already start looking for... let's go here. Let's look for web, starter web. And I figured that this one, 240, will have this one. Might be this one, in fact. Yeah. 2.11.3. Okay. Yeah, it is just this one. Okay, so this is quite annoying because I think I'll need to split these conventions into the regular and then the test conventions apparently. Separate Spring conventions into impl and test conventions, maybe. Okay, now if I run it, it should compile again. Com faster XML Jackson module Kotlin. I guess the 2.11.3 doesn't exist. Oh wait, the rest also stopped working. Maybe I didn't scroll up far enough. Dang it. Okay then, maybe... Now I'm just guessing. Don't like it. Now the other thing I haven't done yet is check. I wonder why it's now complaining. Is it because after I've introduced the infrastructure dingus? What's it called? Dependency? I guess the quick solution would be, I think, to use Spring conventions instead, but then I'm pulling in everything from Spring, and maybe that's like the... Fuck. Maybe... Actually, I just don't know anymore now. Is it because of this? The add component. Because the Spring conventions do list test implementation, but they also list this. Now I even added these to, well, actually the Spring conventions plugin to the domain core, which I didn't even want to do. Maybe if I run a clean build or something. There's some cache or whatever going on here, because I mean now I have, it doesn't look like I've done anything wrong, right? The other thing I could do is actually use API here instead of implementation, but I don't remember how that actually works. Jesus, it's not working. It's still not working. Wah. Wah. Now it's core API. I should read my messages better. That also makes no sense that it needs this. So because of its dependency on infrastructure, maybe infrastructure, what do I actually depend on? I think it's just the interfaces though, right? Because core implements some of these things. I never want to use query executor in my core API itself, I guess. So maybe if I just depend on API instead of on implementation, it will already work. Let's check that before we actually do this. Wait, let's make it run, or like try and build this. If it runs, then we can try and fix and then do the alternative. Basically, check the alternative solution here, if it is a solution indeed. Right. Looks like some more people have joined. Say hi in chat, don't be shy. So we'll revert this back to Kotlin conventions, and then instead of implementation, we will use API instead. And then do a rebuild and see if that in fact is enough. Hopefully it is. I'm not quite sure. Oh right, the other stuff that I need to get rid of is add component on the interfaces, because that just doesn't work. Yeah. Because it's not an inf. Oh, that's something This should move to core. It's also not supposed to be registered player, right? It should just be aggregate to save. No, there it can still be a registered player. Any other interfaces with components? Nope. Okay. Alright, let's run it. And see if it's complaining this time. See, now it might depend on a project already that was already built. Oh, what's your problem? Yeah, that fixes itself, friend. Same issue. That's too bad. Okay. Then if I do this, is that enough? Can look up what the difference is with this thing, API and Impl. Do the API configuration, huh? This thing is part of... No. I can't begin to start understanding that, so... I just won't. Ha! After this build is completed, let's check what disinfect does. So I think, or that's my my assumption or theory is that if I've got a class that is I don't know, call it something that if I want to inject a command executor, it won't be possible because this class it won't be able to find. Nope, I was incorrect. Then I don't know what that is, in fact. Okay. We do, however, have a compiling build now, and a build that runs the tests. So let's just commit. Maybe this part. Let's try and do that part. Okay, so what do we have in event sourcing? We've got now a new application-event store properties file containing the URL and the parameters to start up an R2DBC connection, which we needed when we were running our scenario tests. Right here. Ta-da! So instead of doing this, what I'll do is I'll say, what's it called again? Profiles active. Help me out here, IntelliJ. Profiles active equals, oh yeah, it's got a dash, so maybe Oh, it doesn't have a dash, so let's do store, event store. Because there's a convention that this here file, since it's in the main, and our web application has a dependency on the event sourcing adapter, that this profile suddenly becomes active and it will just work, hopefully. So if we can, we can just test it out by running our scenario. Let's run it. Yeah, okay, that still works. Nice. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, voila. And now the profile or the R2DBC connection is gone, and I just used a real one. Of course, that's not something I want to do when I actually run my tests, but it's something that I want to do later. So I want to not commit these just yet, and this I also don't want to commit just yet, and then I can just commit this bullshit, the refactoring of the. Okay, so this is had to revert the reified type. Command handler for functions included test this time. Alright, and then that will save us some regression. If I remember to run my build, that is. Let's just commit it because we've seen them all. The to-dos are fine. And then the rest, this is a test fix basically. Make sure, well, actually reference event store profile in adapter dot event sourcing. Voila. And this we shall push. And at least we've got some commits that we've done today and did something productive. Okay, so that seems good, seems good. Now what I want to do, what do I want to do next? So we've got our scenario test, so maybe I can just keep on writing these. No, we don't have an actual database just yet, so maybe what I want to do is do some other verification here. Something like verify player exists or something. Excuse me. I think ideally what I want to do is I want to verify this via the REST API instead of via the database. So what would that look like in fact? Let's also run blocking. And then it's the fetch player step. And then maybe, yeah, this is annoying, because now I need because I guess what my REST API is going to return is an ID of the player, not their nickname, because I don't want to depend on the name to be unique. Furthermore, the name, players will be able to rename themselves. So if I don't speak in IDs to my UI, then the UI will constantly need to do some queries, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, we shall have to talk in IDs, and then that means that if I have run this register player step, there's a post. What I should get, in fact, is like a 201 created with the location of this player, so that I can reference it. So once I've got this, I expect this to return a player ID. What? How is this compiling? Weird. And then we'll do this. Fetch player step. And then basically what I can then do is assert that registered player dot nickname is equal to shell. That means we'll need to create this. This is not a unit but a UUID. And what does it return? Oh, I don't have anything yet. Let's call it a registered player. Represent. Oh, JSON? How is this thing used? It's not. It is used in the JSON though, I don't know why. So as you return, or actually, so as a player by ID query returns a registered player, this registered player JSON is fired, and there's a registered player representation coming out of that, and then I only want to return a registered player JSON. Yeah, okay. That's cool, that will suffice, in fact. Now we've got player ID. Okay, that's good. Then I can also say that this thing is not just a UUID but a player ID. There we go. A registered player JSON is expected to come out of that. I don't know why it's a private function, because I want it to be contained in registration steps. where this should be a suspended function. Yeah. And then this is going to return a player ID. Not sure what this returns, in fact, this post. A T, but that's why. Let's just have it. That's not going to be the case, huh? I'm looking for a way to fetch, like extract the, what's it called, the location header. Tries to receive a specific type D. Yeah, I wonder where the D is at though. Where is D? It's equal to request. Maybe in here then. So I guess that's this thing then. Here's the apply on the request builder. Here is the request itself. Here's the T. Then receive is called. It's so weird that T is not a thing actually, you know? With a response and oh yeah, okay. What I want how do you say, I want to extract the headers though. Here. When T class is a statement, then we can do something like this, and otherwise HTTP response execute and an SD, and then this one is the execute of what? Of the HTTP response. Okay, nice. So what I will do, what I will do is I will say that this thing here is going to be a HTTP response of I guess nothing, unit or something. This one. Because this isn't typed, but then on that I can apply or do execute that. So you know, this is a response, and then on the response I can get a status headers, nice. Get the location one. Allee. Hallo. Headers of Gator. Maybe this one, yeah. Empty. Toch. I expected a type or stronger type for this. Fake. Location then, I guess. So if this exists, then hopefully this is just a. No, it returns a list of headers. And what's in there? A string? Location header. That's a string, right? Yeah. Or a maybe string. And then what I want to map it to a player ID now because and this is just a UUID. Damn it. Now I want an actual type, I guess. Oh. So what I think I will do is instead I will do this location header to player ID. And then have this as an extension function. Where is player ID located? It's in core API. So I think I'll put core API the directory package extensions then, and call it extensions, not a class, but just a file. And then I want function on string called toPlayerID, which will do UUID. In this case, UUID. It will return a player ID. In fact, yeah, and it will do UUID from string this. Okay, I think this should be okay. Yeah. So if I change the type, what's the problem? So if I change the type, of player ID from just not from being what's it called, a UUID to an actual type, then I'll need to only change this constructor function really, and then change it here. And everywhere else I can just keep on using this .toPlayer ID on string. And then hopefully that will be fine. So I can't actually just return this. Otherwise I think I want it to explode, because it would mean that it has failed. I don't actually know how to do proper error handling. If there's like a way to do that in a general way, I mean on client, I'm sure. But for now, we can just say throw runtime. Or the other thing I could do is do this via an assertion, since I'm in assertion land anyway. But then if I do that, I will still need to deal with this. I can't just deal with it. I could also throw assertion error. Assertion exception. That's probably not what I want. Let's just throw a runtime maybe for now. I mean, it can definitely be improved. No, creating a player failed, I guess. I mean, that would mean that this thing has failed. Creating, or actually no, registering $player nickname failed. Status response.status. Okay, maybe this is already enough. I guess it should already work, this failure, I mean, because I don't think I'm returning a location header at all. And then here, this should look like that, but then not use an HTTP response, but in fact this thing. And then we can just probably directly return this, so it's going to look like that. Not register, but then player with ID, player ID. I guess the toString on that is not gonna work properly. Maybe I should make the concrete type now already. See what breaks. There's no body there. It's also a get call I want to do. What's this? Okay. Zucht. I guess it will work anyway. Okay, that's good. Then this should be enough. Sweet. This I'm not sure if I need, in fact, but we will see that later. So for now, if I run my scenario... Oh, I guess it's not nickname then. Oh, it's nickname then. Let's rename that. Yeah, I guess if I run this, it's going to break, and I hope that it will fail because the header is not available. I hope that's the reason why it's going to fail. So that's good, because now it does say the status correctly, and it doesn't provide the correct ID. So if I go to my registration controller, here I want to return not just an OK, but a created. Fucking fuck. Opponent. Oh, this is not what I wanted to do. Where is the registration controller? This one? Ah, yeah. Nice. Okay, so let's return not an OK, but a response entity created, and then with a URI, and this maybe there's a better builder for that now. Builder. Oh. Components builder. Yeah. Crap. I need to check how I did that. Or just look it up. SpringBoot return location header. Yeah. Seems legit. Here we go. Is creating location headers and REST controllers. Also seems legit. And then actual docs, but I don't think this seems like very low level, so it's probably not what I'm going to need. This is really old. Asshole, this is like the thing you need. This is like the main thing you need. You will need to edit manually. I wish I could downvote into oblivion. Yeah. That's also a bit too generic, like a general way of doing it. Okay. In 2011, and it was closed in 2011 as well. Maybe because you already have, because you inject the builder, you already automatically get the current path or something? Yeah, voilà. I think they've already done that like that now. Okay, let's just try it out. God, I hate this. Auto-wired, I guess, I don't know. Type annotation is... oh my god, this is Java. I don't need an annotation, I need to put it like this. And then what I'll need to do is builder and then use the... How did they do it? Set location, and location takes... Let's see how that works. And you can add headers to response entity. I'm not sure if you can do that with the created. It's stupid, huh? I just want the URI. So maybe... yeah. I don't think I need the headers argument at all, in fact, so let's get rid of that. So, and then the .to URI part I can put in here. So this is the location. Yeah. Yep. Location URI. Voila. And then the only thing I'll need to do is make sure that it's /API/players/ with the ID, and then expand the actual ID into it. And that ID I think I can get from here. No, I cannot. Why is that? Because the command isn't returning something? Is that because register player is untyped? Nope. I guess I do want to have some kind of return type for this though. Or just assume that this is the ID that I want. So let's do register player. Register player has a new ID. Actually, no, this is incorrect. I don't want this. So this should actually be returning null. But maybe for now it can work, I guess. Yeah, let's just do it like that. Sorry. ID. Okay, and then let's see what this return if I do this. Yeah, we're not returning the player name anymore. That's gonna break the UI, I think. Well, that's shitty. I guess we'll fix that later. For now, it's just a response entity. We'll just adapt it. Oh, that's not good. Build. I can still give it a... maybe then that's also good. Body. Just return the same thing. Okay, then I won't break the API that way. This here is going to fail because it's not is okay, but rather is created. Nice. Let's see if this still works. I wonder. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Can I maybe also... I don't have enough information. That's too bad. I think what I can do is and expect, and then there's like header, exists. Yeah, but I want a concrete one. String, it's just this. String location. And then maybe contains. Is that a matcher? We'll just wait for IntelliJ, I guess. Ugh. Matcher. What kind of matter? Ham-pressed matter. Contains. String contains. Okay. I should have gone. The constructor thing of that. Oh, it's just new. No, contains string. This one I want. Contains string. Yeah, sure. Contains string slash API slash players. Player is fine. Let's run it, see what it does. Because that's the thing I've written here. Oh, it should be player, I guess, slash API slash player. I guess I'll need to rerun it if it fails for the right reason, at least. Oh, why is that? Okay, let's make it fail. Blah. Okay, that doesn't work. That's nice. Yeah, cool, huh? So player, and now it should work. And it did contain HTTP, localhost, blah blah blah. Okay, so seems legit. If we then go back to our scenario test. Scenario, and we run this one, then it might continue a bit because we'll be able to fetch the location header, I hope. Oh, UUID string too large. Where? Yeah, it's gonna contain more than. Ah, fuck. No, well, let's just debug, no? Let's debug. This I can leave behind. Here we are. What's in the location header? Oh yeah, that's correct. It's not just going to be dang it. I guess we only want the last bit, so maybe let's just take the last substring or something. What's that? Last? Or I could take the last n amount of characters, and seeing as it's a UUID, it's always going to work that way. Then I don't need to fetch the last slash in that thing. Maybe that'll work better. I don't know. Let's do that, and it will be the last. What was it again? 12 plus 3, so 15. No, not 12. It's much longer. It's like 8, 4, 4, 4. Don't know. Crikey. Just no. Oh, I don't have my. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then there's 4, so that's 20, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 4, so that's 12. So we've got 20 plus 12 is 32, and then we've got 3 dashes. No, 4 dashes. So that's 36. Okay, last 36. And if I inspect this, we'll only get the last bit. Nice. And then this two-player ID is going to work, I suspect. Yeah. Then we'll get rid of that and run it. Get rid of the breakpoint. Run it again. There's some nasty stuff though in UUID. That makes it not work. Alright, client request invalid. That's the /player. Nice, that's good. Huh? Actually, this is really stupid. Like, why am I doing it like that? It's just returning me the exact thing I need. I guess it makes it a bit more standalone, because then I only need a player's ID to get a player. Then again, yeah. Okay, at least that stuff is working. So what we've done now is we've hello. Yeah, register player returns a what's it called again? Location header. Location header. Okay. So that's that, and then yeah, we can continue. Not here, and the REST API registration, and then we'll just add a new controller. We'll call it directory package player, I guess. Kotlin. I think I want something more concise. Let's call it the player controller. Then that means this should be player controller. I am editing the right thing. Yeah, it's in REST API player. Should be here. I don't think it's going to need a command executor just yet. This should get player by ID. It's going to not need a request body. It should also be a get mapping. where it doesn't consume this because it'll just produce stuff. I need a path, yeah, path, nice. This is the thing I need. And then it should get, I think it looks like this, I'm not sure. Huh? Why does it need an array of this? That makes no sense. Yeah, okay, so that does work. The components builder don't need. Get rid of all this crap. Oops. Okay. This path variable is in fact a player ID. This thing. And we want to return not a player named JSON, but a registered player JSON. This thing. Oh shit, we've got two of them. Ah, that's because it's an inner class or something. Okay. That's not what I want. Oh. This explains a lot. No. Do I want to go to my registration controller? No, my registered player, my player controller? What the hell? What did I name it? What's player controller? Ah, I've got two of these now, that's why. Okay, you know what? Let's extract it into its own class at a later stage. And for now, I'll just remove it and add it in here, I guess. Okay. This is a get. Yep. Yep. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah. Also blah. Also blah. Yeah, registered player. Or maybe just player. It's okay. Then we'll do query executor, execute, and then find or player by ID. Yeah, player by ID. It's just gonna take this one, which automatically works because you what mate? Cha. If I do this, then it will work. So I will get back a registered player representation, and what I want to, yeah, actually this, same thing. And if this breaks, we'll do this. Now we'll move this later to my query executor, because if you do by ID, then it should always either fail or return something. Then that way I don't have to deal with it every time here. Couldn't find the player. This bit is going to return the player, and then we'll just return that. Nice. There we go. Player controller created. I mean, next issue is this actual, the handler for this thing doesn't do anything yet. Where is it? Here. Well, actually, no, that's not right. Ooh, it's already returning. Wait, then why is it? I don't think it is, this is necessary. I guess it is necessary. I don't understand why though. Because my player by ID query handler. Oh, somewhere I think I might have typed my query handlers or my query executor, in fact, to return an optional thing. That's not correct. Query executor. Yeah, this is not correct. This is not correct. Why is it still because of this? Okay, nice. This can be removed. And then if a query would be returning something optional, then it's up to that query, to the query type, to be optional, not part of the executor framework. And then I can do this, and then that means I don't need this crap. Nice. And same here. So that's already fixed as well. Nice. Okay, next thing. I forgot already why I had the challenge player thing. It's not used anywhere, to my knowledge. Maybe it was just like example code and it's already quote-unquote implemented, but you know. Okay, and so the next thing that I was going to say is that this player by ID handler, yeah. This is going to the repository to do a get by ID, but here we are returning null, and that's where it's gonna fail, of course, because we haven't persisted anything yet. So, but at least we should be getting a different exception now. If I return to my scenario, this one, and I run it, I'm gonna get a different exception now. Because here this call, I mean, it will exist, it will match, I hope, but it will return an exception eventually in Spring Boot and then get translated somehow. No. Internal server error. Why is that? Did I not fix this? Collection contains no element matching the predicate. Maybe it is because there's no query handler registered or something. Why would that be? Ah, this is why. Hey, lol pro, what's up? Okay, getting another 500, but this time hopefully different. Nope. Ah, yeah, different error. We've got a runtime. Nice. This is good. Okay. What I could do in here is not throw a runtime, but there is like that custom runtime, custom exception, but it's in REST API. This is in core. So what I could do now is just create a custom exception in here somewhere. Package exceptions. Then create a new not found exception or something, I don't know. We'll extend the runtime. Maybe we'll do a domain runtime exception. And then make that a... Where is that? Do I want it in Franoa? We could just put them all together in one thing, eh? Why not? Class. It's a runtime exception. That should be good enough. Then we can overwrite the message. So that's, yeah, that one. Voila. Then this is going to turn out into something like could not find. Maybe with an ID or something here, I don't know. It's not useless. I mean, it's useless. So. It's a problem here. Ah, oui. Could not find stuff. Wait, it does say there's no player found for, so maybe we'll just do an override here as well then. Okay, good enough. And then we'll just throw a not found somewhere. Yeah. There was another place here. Here it's also no player found for ID. Oh, we should move this to the repository, yeah? The get by ID. Fuck. Yeah, but that's for later, I guess. Okay. Domain exceptions. There we go. And then what we can do is the place where we've got the custom exception handler. Here, let's write something extra and say, oh shit, I've got like a to response thing there. What does it do? Okay, I think we can do the same. It's generic enough, it just uses the message, so I mean... Oh. Yeah. This is done, so let's do domain exception, domain runtime exception, yeah. Nice. And then we'll just do handle these kinds of exceptions, and this can go. This is our domain runtime exception. I'll just call it to response, which will just add the message in the body, and then donezo. Cool. So now our query handlers throw these kinds of exceptions, specifically those. Yep. And then they get translated. So if I run my tests again, the response, I think, is going to contain that stuff. Oof, that's not what I wanted. There's more stuff that can be cleaned up. But yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. That's incorrect. Nice try, B Sparkswell. The current project I'm working on, so I need to update my Nightbot actually. Thanks for testing that feature. What do I write? Correct project. I'll give you a quick what's it called? Intro. We're building a leaderboard website for a game called Diabotical. We're gonna use Kotlin, Elm, CQRS, and EventSourcing, and the architecture looks like this currently. So we've just got one single component or deployable which contains both the backend and the UI. UI is Elm, backend is Kotlin SpringBoot application. It's got two databases, let's say, one containing our event stream and one containing all of our managing objects, let's say, like ladders, teams, roles, matches, players are also going to be in here. And then the event stream is going to contain everything that a leaderboard could be interested in. Now, the reason why event streaming or event sourcing, sorry, is so interesting for this project is because we're not really sure yet how we want to attribute scoring. And the idea is that, let's say, in a normal way, you would just say, whenever a player's won a match, they get points. So that could be still configured, let's say, because we've got a player submitted match report. And somehow, okay, no. Player submitted match report is gonna contain some values like who won, with what score, etc. So this policy, the thing I still needed to do here is, let's do it a bit dirty now. So this is a policy which is purple. We'll copy paste that, put it somewhere here, say that it's a policy as a legend, and then I'll fix it later. There. This is going to be then only interested in player submitted match reports. It translates that to leaderboards, does the calculation, updates itself, and then generates a new projection, making sure that there's now a new leaderboard. If we need a new type of leaderboard, maybe based on the amount of challenges that a player has done, for example, then we'll just create in code a new policy, which is going to be interested in a bunch of other events, but on also the player challenged another player event, and then attribute points that way, and then generate a projection according to that leaderboard. So that's the main idea of this quote-unquote simple leaderboard program. And the thing we're doing right now is we're building a walking skeleton. Stuff that we've already done is setting up a code repository, thinking about making the quality attributes, a story map that's been set up, and then making initial C4 architecture diagrams, which I've already shown. This is my story map. So whenever stuff is ready, like maybe this thing for example, we would turn this green. Or if it's done, basically, then this thing turns green. Now, as you can see, nothing here is green. That's because we're at the very start of the project, which is exciting because a bunch of stuff is being set up still. And that's typically the point where most developers, the thing you can't really test all that much unless you keep on starting new projects all the time. And then the main flow that we're trying out now is there's like a UI component. It's going to post something to an API register endpoint that gets mapped on a controller. Then a register player command gets sent out, which is supposed to be saved to a repository, or well, delegated to a repository, which then saves it into a database. And then eventually you can also fetch a player. I don't really see where that thing is yet, but you can fetch a player. Here we go, which fires a query handler, which ends up asking something to the repository and then back to this stuff. And we are doing this part now. I actually just did it, and this thing exists, but there's no implementation of fetching something in a database for it yet. So that's where we are right now. I've made sure that I've got a scenario test which basically mimics the UI, and when I run this, I'm getting an exception saying no player found for blah blah blah, and that's because the repository that I've got now, the registered player repository, this implementation returns null, and this get by ID is being executed by my player by ID query handler, and it'll return this if it's null. So this is where we are now. Cool, and I'm going to commit real quick because we're like at that stage where we've done some stuff that's enough to actually commit something, even though it's a work in progress. So what we'll do is we'll commit this with work in progress, and then say moved exception handling to well, actually no, now throwing actual domain runtime exceptions that get translated to error JSONs or a string message. And the other part we've done is also introduced player controller. Voila. And then normally, like in an actual project, I would write tests for the player controller itself, but I already have a scenario test that manages to do that for me, and it runs a bunch of stuff in integrated fashion. So I'm fine by just using this instead. If I need more concrete unit tests to test something very specific, I will write those, of course. Yeah, nice. So now we need a database, and we've already got one running, but I'm not sure. So we've got this RDBMS thing, we have a projections thing, but we don't have a repository implementation yet for our core API. So this thing here, let's see, players. Nope. Where is the... it's gotta be... Here's the player repository. So this is an implementation, I see. Which is, I don't think that's correct. I want this to be an interface, and then its implementation can go in RDBMS somewhere over here. So what I'll do is, I guess I'll create a new package saying org scrambled adapter RDBMS. Let's call it players, I guess. Then, well, that's fine already. Then this is gonna go there in a registered player repository. There we go. And then this is gonna turn into an interface. So let's just go like that. I registered. Naming we'll fix later. I just want something working for now. That's good enough. I know this is not just a simple aggregate ID, but a player ID. And now we need to override some stuff. In fact, this should also be removed, so it's not going to be an optional thing, but an explicit thing. So this can go, this will turn into an interface, and now that I'm doing all of this crap, the thing I should have done is I should have used my refactoring tools. This is an override. Okay. Voila. And then this hopefully is used there. No. Yeah. That's also incorrect of me. So this thing which resides currently in core, domain core, it should be moved to API. So let's do that. API, and then in here, and then in a different package, so not impl but API. Yes, I want to create it. Oh boy. Now my repository is returning, should be returning registered players, so that's correct, but registered player is not something that's in Oh. Domain.core.api.players, that seems more correct. Okay. Yeah, this is over here. So I guess it also needs to become an interface then. Wouldn't it hain? I don't know. Sorry, you're on mobile. Can you actually read anything on mobile? Refactor on green. I'm thinking whether I am on green now. Well, yes. Okay. So, of course you're correct. But let's say, in like, if you're only writing big outside-in scenario tests, then yeah, just return that UUID. I don't think it's going to be that easy though. Let's see, yeah. So if I go to my scenario, here I also want to verify that my nickname is Scallop, which is also not gonna work. And that's because this thing, yeah, okay. I guess I can make it work. Let's see if I can. We'll go to the player controller, and then here, whatever ID is being queried, I will just return. So that ends up happening in the repository. So no, wait, in the player by ID handler. Here we've got the repository, then this implementation. Yeah, so now we actually need to go to the implementation again, and then that's where I started refactoring. So maybe I can just revert all of this crap that I've done now. Let's revert. There we go. That's nice. Yeah, so if I go to the player repository again, somehow it didn't revert everything. That's weird, huh? Anyway, so if I go to the player by ID handler and I go to my repository here, what I want to do is, yeah, maybe I can just return the ID, but then a fixed registered player of ID, and then with Scallop. Then that's going to fix my scenario test, I think. Where is it though? In web source this one. Oh, I already was in it. So I think if we did this, then we verify that that all of the connections are correct, let's say. But it's not going to be a very useful test, of course. Oof, I am hungry though. So, okay, nice. Let's commit that. Forced test to work. So that's nice already though. Now I already know that the happy path is going to work. And I can push this. So what we did now was we returned a 201 location header. Using that ID, I'm going to fetch, or I'm going to, doing an HTTP GET to that controller, which ends up going to the query handler, going to the repository, which now returns hard-coded ID and my name, or like scallop, and then we fixed it. So that's good. So now I know that my controller, like this stuff here, works basically. Cool. Okay, and now I need to think a bit harder on the part where I move this repository somewhere like in a normal place, because here I don't think it's correct, because I need to go to the database somehow. And database stuff, yeah. How am I going to do that? So I already started some bullshit stuff to check whether the projections here are were going to work, and that isn't in fact the case, so that is working. But let's think. Oh yeah, by the way, the handle, it's very inefficient, all of this crap, because I'm initializing. This really was just for testing. It's not about using it in a production ready system yet. But now I want that. So how do I go about that? So I want my repository impl to return registered players. So the place where I'm going to, how do you say that? Where I'm going to implement it, it needs to be able to create a registered player. But that is an aggregate right now, and I don't want to happen. I don't want to do that here in my RDBMS, because then this knows my domain too intimately, let's say. So I think normally what you do is you have your interface in the API, and then an implementation of that repository in here. Or the other thing I could do that makes a little bit more sense, I think, is provide like an in-between step, which I think I already have somewhere. Where is that? Like a registered player representation here in core API domain. Nice. Ah yeah. Which is in fact also returning this. Yeah, so the player by ID query handler is going to return this representation, but that's, yeah, Let's look some stuff up because okay, so the other day, where is that? The other day I went to DDD Europe, where somebody shared an implementation in Akka that's .NET though, but that might have the same idea. Depends a bit on how they split their problem. Let's see if I can find that repository again. Is it here? Yeah, it's here. Copy. Let's see. Yeah, so they split their modules in domain, where they've got some stuff like player ID, and then let's see what's in DB. It's just a SQL file. Maybe they've got their stuff in infrastructure. You don't want your aggregate in RDBMS, that's correct. But in core API, that is also correct. Why not in core? That I don't understand. I want my aggregate in core though. I want it here, but I don't want core to know that it needs to go to the database. So I want that to be done via an adapter. So this is like my adapter that understands how to go to the database. So there should be players repository. I don't know. And this thing, oops, is a component or like a repository. And then this needs forget what's it called. Yeah, but so for event sourcing I've got, I don't know how to do this properly actually. No, you're making me think out loud, so it's good. I want to inject a database client, but this one is an asynchronous one, and I'm not sure if I want that for my. I guess it shouldn't do any harm. I just need to run blocking calls much earlier than. But I thought I wanted to use JDBI because it keeps it a bit more simple, but then maybe that's already like the concrete implementation of how to connect to the database, and for now we do have JDBI here, so I need to sort of inject somehow a JDBI handle maybe to this repository. Maybe that's enough. Let's look that up. Let's do JDBI SpringBoot. See how that works fast enough. What's the thing that you need to inject? Domain, don't care. Yeah, sure. Here's a DAO. It takes JDBI on demand. Oh, right. What? Transactionality, that's already fixed. I've got that in my command handlers. Okay, so basically I need to inject a JDBI into my DAO and then I'm golden. forever. I don't really know what this thing is though. So, but in any case, like the thing that's going to be returned from my repository, maybe I can make it a bit more clear. Let's just rename this to JDBI repository or something, and I guess I'll take in a JDBI, make it more concrete. This thing, yeah, import. Okay, so eventually this thing is going to return find by ID. Let's even just say we already have the core dependency on core API, so I can add a player ID, which is a player ID. Do we not have the dependency? I do not. Let's check again in our thing here. Here. It was right next to it, of course. Here. RDBMS depends on core API. And then, yeah, web depends on both of these things, but so that means that core API contains classes that can be used in here, but how do I link a repository which is going to be used in a handler which is in core somewhere? By this thing. Well, I guess the handler is gonna do all of the thing, so maybe I just put it there and have player's JDBI repository be called by my handler, but then I don't have a repository as like a domain concept anymore, and that's like a weird thing, I guess. I know that like every time I do a new project, this is the step that fucks me over every time. Anyway, in any case, I think this needs a dependency on domain core API. And then I guess as this thing, but I haven't defined that properly. API, yeah. Maybe to avoid confusion, maybe let's call this DAO or something. And this as well. There we go. Olé. Ha, there you go. This returns, yeah, not a player then, I guess, but something else. From the database. So it's impossible because this can talk in these. Yeah, okay, and then, oh wait, this is the other way around. Core depends on Core API. So I think Core API needs to contain some objects that this RDBMS can talk into so that it can communicate to Core. But if we see, if we look at what's going to happen, whatever, let's return. No, let's do to implement. This is fine, I guess, but really what I want is for my this thing to implement a repository from Core API. But then that means that the type from that repository, this one, needs to be known by Core API and can't just be this. So now I'm wondering if I need, I mean, if this is fine, maybe I can just wrap database repository or something. DAO, registered web layer data DAO. Val player DAO, something like that, and then we will do player DAO get by ID with this ID, which should be a player ID in fact. And then here we'll do the translation into a registered player. Something like this. And really what that looks like is and then this one is an interface, so let's do it like this. Call it just players. And then this players DAO implements that. And then they can return player from database. I hate this. I hate it. Do I maybe let's just try and create it, huh? Core API players, sure, let's add it. Call it hi players. It's an interface. It's going to return import get by ID, just like this, but then return something else, not a registered player. This is going to work. It's not going to be an override. No question mark there. And we'll return, let's say, what's the thing I just said in the RDBMS? This thing, a player from DB. Here we go. There. This is a data class. Player from DB. It has val ID, which is a player. I can reuse this because it's just a stupid value object. It has a nickname. I don't know. What was it again? Nickname. Nickname, which is a string. And then that's that. That is contained now. Okay, cool. And then what? Return it. implement it. What's your problem? Okay, oh yeah, it should be get by ID. Get by ID. Override, nice. Great. Okay, I don't know why that is. Because according to that article here, it should be working. I think, I'm not really sure actually. Ah, no, this is, oh shit, that's right. Like DAO is like a specific construct. I don't know how to say that in JDBI. So the thing I need to be implementing, maybe it should be enough if it's an interface that also extends the well. My god. It's becoming a bit difficult, huh? Ah, here. Ah, you need to make beans. Ah, okay. How come you can inject JDBI like that though? That I don't really understand. Ah, here. Okay, that makes sense. And these you can inject or what? You need Spring dependency as well. Okay. Guess I missed the most basic thing. My bad. Okay. So I guess we don't really, yeah, we do inject this. I just need to fix it at some point. So returning player from DB. This thing resides in core API somehow. Players in here. There we go. Then this thing gets called by their actual repository. This one. And then we need to somehow translate into this. So that means I should go like this. Return registered player. Where I use this ID, it can be just the same thing. And then nickname. And then Redonzo, let's say. And now that's that. What would save look like? Save would look like this. Persist or save, I guess. Save. Save, and then we can't speak in registered player terms. We need to save a player from DB. So we'll need to create a player from DB, I guess. Or just pass an ID and a string and have no type here. I don't really know yet how to do that. To save equals this thing nickname, and then to save alright, or maybe we'll use persist here or something, I don't know. There's no thing to return it anyway, so this should be fine. This will create player, and then what? Dunzo? I don't know. Yeah, I needed to read the fucking manual. That's right. Implement it. There we go. And then what? So in this spot, maybe we'll already take care of it then, I guess, which is Kotlin class, we'll call it JDBI config or something, or Spring config. Sure. It is a configuration. Yep. Yep. Ah, yeah. Okay, no, that seems to work already. Then it gets a data source. Yeah, sure. Some row mappers. Ah, yeah. And these, no. These are not the row mappers I'm looking for. It's these kinds. But this is a very weird construction. It's definitely going to return a JDBI. This, I don't know what that is. I probably need it for allez, let's see. How do you say that? Allez. I will get it when I add this one. So in my Gradle blah, let's also add Spring 4. And then hopefully this is okay. Actually unsure about the Spring 4 thing. It sounds old, but it's last modified relatively recently. No. It's too bad that the article doesn't mention the bomb. This I also am not sure if I need, in fact, because in here in Spring Conventions we are in fact using Spring Starter Web, and I think this already contains it. I'm not really sure, in fact, but we'll see. We shall see. Voila. As I suspected. Problem. Oh. There we go. What's your problem? That I find very hard to believe, huh? Alright. See you. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. This looks kinda weird because I transformed it from Java. Ugh. So what do we want to do? For each JDBI plugin, I want to install it, basically. That's it. So that should look like that. And this should might need a type though. Nope, don't need a type even. Nice. Maybe I can even write it a little bit easier. Because I think it just takes a method reference as well. Huh? So that would be JDBI install plugin. Yeah. Remove unnecessary parentheses from function call with lambda. Oh, it was out of date. Okay. So yeah, that's the same thing here, and then here I need to do register a row mapper. Voila. And then I return JDBI. This thing also don't understand. Yeah, I think that will just work out, probably. We shall see. Anyway, we've got the JDBI source now. This is a thing. Normally this should be found. Ah, yeah, there we go. And then what? Now I can try and use this. I might need to rename this to players repository or something. Players JDBI repository. And then instead of injecting this, no, you know what I'll do? This is Gucci. This is Gucci. I will declare a private val called players DAO. Players DAO, yeah. Which is going to be a players DAO type, which I don't have yet. I'll put it in the, oh no, you know what? I'll just put it in the same file. So this is an interface, players DAO. Not really sure what I can extend for that. Let's see. Yeah, this I really don't understand what that thing is. They use class path SQL locator? What? Oh, I don't want that at all. I want them to be inside of the same thing. Yeah, this is the thing I needed. Yeah, so it's just a stupid interface, and then you annotate it with crap. So this is jdbi.onDemand using players DAO class. I'm already using the same thing. Okay, what's the problem? Non-fine. Ah, yeah, okay. Okay. Voila. Okay, and now I guess what I can do now is just do the at SQL. But this is so strange because it resides in core API. Fucking hell. Completely at a loss. Car maker. Okay. Yeah, you just bind that. So that means by ID takes in this thing, takes in just an ID. How does it know which table it's going to query? Maybe this is already too annoying. Where is the add bind bean thing? Where is that? Here. Ah, to get a bunch of car makers, I guess. Oh no, that's to make sure that you can translate your car maker representation of your database table object. Okay. Well, I'll just do it like that. Player ID. And this returns a player from DB. And then the implementation just looks like this. By ID. I bet eventually what we can do here is I'm not really sure actually what I was gonna say. Or maybe some magic, just some magic. Some Kotlin magic. SQL update. Here the get generate. I don't want that. I want to create. I've already created my identifier myself, so. No. Ah. Aha. That's another option, of course. If my... Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no, actually it might just work. If I have this as an implementation for this, then I just put the annotations on there and the annotation in front of this thing. I wonder if I can do that. Let's see if I can. Players. So get by ID. Seems to work. Yeah, maybe I'll do it like this. This seems better. Where is the, or why the fuck? How come? Yeah, it's because it's an interface. Oh shit. So override persist. Also, don't do anything. This should be SQL update. And nope, not that thing. Bind bean. Bind bean. Cool. And now I basically want to provide this as in my config, so maybe I'll just do this crap in here. Grr. Yeah, this I still don't know how to properly do, like, because I want to this one. Huh. Ah, voila. There we go. Players DAO. Sure. Then I think, oh, maybe, yeah, no, you can't put that on interfaces, that's what I remember. So this can go as well. Then this just remains. And now the only thing I'm missing is like, how does it know which table to go to? That I don't really know yet. But I think implementation wise this is going to work. Because now in my core repository I am going to work with domain objects. Alright, and this I should move because it's not used in infrastructure. It is used, however, in core API, yeah? So core API, where do I put that? Just straight underneath here. Kotlin repository. Good enough for me. Oh, no. This one. Yeah. Is something else broken? Hopefully not. Oh, something is broken. Why? Yeah, sure. Okay, so that can be this. Same here. Other stuff? No. It's because I changed the contract of handle. Alright, now it is compiling noise. Okay, so this repository will it get loaded? I guess so. Like the one thing I haven't configured yet is the data source. So somewhere in here we should get a main directory called resources. Add a file called application rdbms.properties. Add, and then add something like data source. Oh, yeah. Data source URL. I don't know this by heart. Something like. I don't know. Oh, so close. So let's just make it go to the projections database. Use mumra and snarf. Souse. Username mumra. Okay. Password. Sure. Should be okay, I guess, because now we've got a working data source. It does not have any tables in it though. Ah yeah, the other thing I haven't done yet is mapped the players from DB type to a table. Yeah. How do we go about doing that? Because normally you've got like flyway, but maybe I can just create some table already. Because I don't want to get bothered with flyway. I just want to. Okay, two things. JDBI. What's it? Bind bean? Let's look at that. Maybe we'll do JDB3. So it will just automatically map this, or what? Insert. Ah, yeah, okay. I need to, of course, specify the SQL. That's the thing. Dumb. So dumb. Okay. So this becomes insert into registered layers. ID, nickname, values, So a user will have an ID and a name. Does that make sense? Where is user object? User object. Looks like it. That means, yeah, it's gonna work out. This thing doesn't exist yet. Where? Alright, food's ready. That means I'm heading out. I might finish this off stream. Thank you for watching, y'all, and hope to see you next time. Bye!